Pretty good. Look at that. Not bad, Mark. You're not just invincible, you're also like Earth's best food cooking man. Pretty impressive.
What? Oh, no, I just worked here. I don't actually make the food.
Next time also, constructive criticism, do not put these green things in here. These are gross.
Yeah, hey, so, did you ever find Urath?
Yeah, of course I found it. Very, very quickly, very easily. Yellow skies, purple grass, and get this, they have burgers there too, just like these. Who would have guessed, huh?
You never found it, right?
No. Nope, not even close. I hope they're okay. I think about them quite a bit, honestly. But, how about you? What have you been up to? It's been a while. I think everyone agrees it's been, like, a little ridiculous how long it's been.
Hey, I've been busy.
Doing what?
Well, I've been busy writing, designing, storyboarding, voice acting, key posing, in-betweening, cleaning up, color slapping, comping the whole thing and all that for, roughly thousands of shots, so it's kind of a lot.
Sure, yeah. Although like 90% of that, if I'm being honest, sounds completely made up. But the real question is, when are you going back out there? The world needs more Invincible.
Oh, it's coming, okay? Hey!
Yeah, I know, but like a specific date would be nice.
Oh, but okay, fine. The world will get more Invincible in, late 2023.
All right, okay, I'll take it. Late 2023. Perfect, sure. So 2023, is that like one of your years? You know, our planets, they all have different systems of keeping track of time. Like, they go around their stars at different speeds, but the way you said that number makes it sound soon. Is it soon? I really want it to be soon.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. They dropped an Invincible Season 2 teaser trailer video, so we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs and references and what's going on during Season 2. So if you're brand new to the channel, I will be doing episode videos for Season 2, just like I did for Season 1. The scene in the trailer they released just has Mark treating Alan the Alien to burgers at Burger Mart, where he used to work until his powers manifested during Episode 1 in Season 1, after the events of Episode 8. After they met and Alan the Aliens explained to him who he is, where he came from, and how he mistakenly came to Earth. Like, that's the whole joke in the trailer, is that he just keeps coming back to Earth because he can't find Urath, the planet that he was supposed to go to. The whole idea is that Alan the Alien read the instructions on the planet that he was supposed to go to, Urath, wrong and mistakenly came to Earth, and that's how he came to meet Mark, and it was just a coincidence that he didn't side with his father and the other Viltrumites and conquer Earth. And it winds up being a huge turning point in the war against the Viltrumites. Like, the whole idea is that the Viltrumites are the villains. It'd be like if Superman and the Kryptonians were evil and wanted to conquer the rest of the universe. So this is all about Mark working with Alan the Alien, the coalition of planets, to slowly take down the Viltrumites. Very slowly, though. There's like so much stuff that has to happen before that goes down. There's several more huge Viltrumite characters that they'll eventually face during Season 2, along with multiverse versions of Mark and other villains, multiverse villains just in general. And their joke about how long it's been, like ridiculously long since they checked in, is a reference to how long the hiatus has been between Season 1 and Season 2. Mark's replies show the script for Season 2 episodes where things eventually pick up, like in the next part of the story in the comics. This is a scene of Mark facing the surviving immortal character. That's why they call him the Immortal, because he is immortal. They show a montage of Adam Eve, Stephen Yoon behind the scenes recording episodes, making it sound like Mark has been animating Season 2 episodes all by himself. And Alan the Alien pressing them on a specific Season 2 release date, which they say in the trailer is late 2023 this year. When they say that, they probably mean fall 2023, like October to December. Season 2 is supposed to be 8 episodes. They did renew it for Season 3 as well, so they're also working on Season 3. I think the idea is that they can get Season 3 out by next year, and we won't have to wait like 2 more years between seasons again. Right now, it sounds like they're going to try and drop it by late October, maybe a little bit before that, so that they can get all the episodes out by the end of the year. Robert Kirkman also dropped a teaser back in 2021 where he talks about Angstrom Levy showing up and becoming one of the main villains for that part of the arc, but obviously there'll be many other villains that show up during the different episodes. The really cool thing about his character is that he's a multiverse villain, so the way Robert Kirkman talks about the future of the show is that they'll continue to escalate with each season. So just in terms of world building, they'll be getting into multiverse territory with alternate versions of Invincible, other universes where things went down very differently. They'll also be getting into the coalition of planets more, as Alan the Alien teased, in their big war against the Viltrumites, and what's going on in other parts of the universe. They used the Flaxans during Season 1 to tease a little bit of the multiverse because they came from an alternate dimension where time moves a little bit differently. but Angstrom Levy is like the fullest expression of the multiverse concept. The comic book timeline for his story is just a little bit different because it overlaps with the Mauler twins and some of the things that they did during season 1, so they might change it just a little bit, but Robert Kirkman did confirm that they would continue to change the comic book story for the TV episodes. They did the same thing during season 1. But without getting too deep into his storyline, basically he breaks the Maulers out of prison to help him create another mind transference device that they normally just use for cloning themselves, only Angstrom Levy doesn't want to clone himself. He wants to accumulate the sum total of all knowledge from as many alternate realities as possible. So even without the Maulers' help, he's able to construct a device that allows him to travel to alternate realities. He uses that to assemble a team of other versions of himself from alternate realities, then modifies the Mauler's device so that it'll allow him to transfer or basically download all the knowledge from all of his copies into his own mind, making him this all-knowing villain. But as he activates the device, Cecil learns about what he's doing and calls Mark in to stop him and the Maulers, and even though they play it for a little bit of comedy, like Mark is still learning to be a superhero, so he kind of fumbles his way through the fight, but he's so powerful that they're not really a threat to him, so they just play it for some funny moments. And he inadvertently breaks Angstrom Levy's machine while it's in the middle of downloading all the knowledge from his multiverse duplicates. And even though it kind of works, it does download a lot of their knowledge into his mind, it also winds up leaving him horribly disfigured. And he swears revenge on Invincible and uses the multiverse to pursue that. He's a really cool character, but as you can see, they play the character for a lot of comedy. But the other cool thing about his character is that through him, they get to do all these other different versions of Invincible because it's the multiverse. Like during his first appearance, he's grabbing another Angstrom Levy from a version of Earth where Invincible actually went to the dark side and agreed to help his father, Omni-Man, take over the planet. He's grabbing this alternate Angstrom Levy right in the middle of this same fight scene that he had with his father in the finale of the TV show, only on this version of Earth, Invincible, instead of saying no to him, actually said, "Yay, Viltrumites," and they start to take over the planet. So eventually they wind up doing a bunch of really cool looking evil iterations of Invincible from different universes through Angstrom's run as a villain in the comics, culminating in what they call the Invincible War. It's sort of like their version of a reverse Marvel Secret Wars type of event, where instead of a bunch of alternate reality heroes teaming up with each other, it's Angstrom Levy unleashing a team of evil versions of Invincible on the main universe. One of the other big things that Robert Kirkman was hyping up during Season 2 was the Coalition of Planets. Now, Alan the Alien explained a little bit to Mark what was going on with that and what their main goal is, trying to build support in the rest of the universe to rebel against the Viltrumites and get rid of them, like the rest of the universe versus the Viltrumites. You learn a little bit more about the day-to-day with the Coalition of Planets and Alan the Alien's backstory. He explained a little bit of his backstory during Season 1, but I think we'll just get more of him during Season 2. That whole arc in the comics is called the Viltrumite War. That's sort of like their big Avengers Infinity War type of moment where they actually do fight the Viltrumites. They do have a plan, but it doesn't go down exactly the way you think it would. We'll also probably meet some of the other Viltrumites during Season 2. There are many that you see during the comics, but after Omni-Man, Conquest is one of the next big ones that Mark winds up going against, and then eventually you work your way up to Thrag, who's sort of the de facto leader of the Viltrumite people. There's also a lot of Viltrumite history that they only brushed over really quickly during Season 1. They'll probably get deeper into that during Season 2 and Season 3. There are a lot of other minor villains that you see during those end credit scenes, like you see the Maulers get rearrested, locked back up. Like I said, they're a big part of the Angstrom Levy plot, so either they'll break them back out again and use it for some comedy, or they'll find some other way for Angstrom Levy to get their technology. You see the Flaxans preparing to attack Earth again and declaring revenge on Omni-Man because he basically wiped out their entire planet. That was probably one of the coolest moments too, watching him go ham on an entire planet in the span of what seems like just a couple weeks, just long enough for him to grow some facial hair there. We see the Titan has taken over as the new boss of the city after they got rid of his old boss. It just seems like he's going to continue to be a thing, but it's sort of like the devil you know. Doc Seismic is back and they've escalated his threat. He's controlling a whole bunch of magma golems this time. Probably one of the bigger teasers, though, is Cecil inspecting the new upgraded Reanimant, because they actually did give Omni-Man a run for his money. They overwhelmed him for a little bit before he took them down, but these are still very early versions of these that they continue to iterate on. It's sort of like Terminators, like they get better and better over time. And even though they portray the Viltrumites like they're totally unkillable, except other Viltrumites, like a Viltrumite could kill another Viltrumite, in Battle Beast could probably kill a Viltrumite, like he almost kills Mark. For the most part, the way they portray them during Season 1, they're relatively unkillable. Eventually, they do find Viltrumite weaknesses that they can exploit, also through the Coalition of Planets storyline as well. but some of that stuff, like the Viltrumite War storyline, they might not get into till many seasons later, like season 3, season 4. Some of that stuff is way further ahead in the comics. For the most part, it just seems like Angstrom Levy will be the main storyline for season 2. Maybe that'll culminate in the season 2 finale with them doing a version of the Invincible War storyline. Even though it sounds really epic, a bunch of alternate reality versions of Invincible fighting the main version of Invincible, it only lasted for a single issue, so it was actually a pretty short war. And even though Omni-Man took off at the end of the episode, like he finally decided that he did care about Mark and he wasn't going to kill him, so he had to find some way to make up for it because his current marching orders from Thrag, from the Viltrumite command structure, were to take over other planets, and he had chosen to take over Earth. That had been his mission for the last 20 years. In order to make up for that failure for not taking over Earth, he has to go find another planet to take over, and that leads to another big storyline and the reveal of another big character. So without getting too deep into that, I don't know if they're going to wind up doing the Oliver character during season 2, if that'll be a big reveal or WTF moment and maybe like the finale, or if they'll save that for season 3. But if you have not read the comics, it actually ended in 2019, so you can actually read the entire comic book story now. They won't wind up doing everything from the comics, and they will change a bunch of stuff, but it is still a really cool story, and it'll give you a pretty good idea for some of the stuff that they'll do in future seasons. But the big takeaway is that with each season, they will continue to escalate the conflict. Things will get bigger, more galactic, crazier and crazier. Obviously, season 2 is just pushing that into multiverse storytelling. But there's a bunch of stuff coming up. I'm doing The Last of Us episodes on HBO right now. I'll put links for that in the description below. The Mandalorian Season 3 episodes are going to start really soon. I'll be doing videos for that as well. Marvel Secret Invasion is going to happen after that. Make sure you enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. Everyone click here for that Rebel Moon Netflix trailer and learn about Zack Snyder's version of a Star Wars movie. And click here for my new Kang, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.